Am I in? Am I on? So I don't know if this is working, but let me figure out how to use this stupid thing because it's. Let me see. Hold on a minute. Can somebody type a? Oh, I've got 4 people watching. Type a chat, I guess. I don't know. Can you write something in the? So what's up, everybody? All right. So new viruses are coming out. Not good. Not good. They released some documents regarding the Nazi UFO stuff in this batch, the first batch of UFO documents. And I guess a few days ago when they released it, everybody was, oh, look, the Nazi UFOs are real. The Nazi UFOs are real. And wait a minute. Let me share that. Let me try to share this video, and I'll be right back. Okay, just hold on a minute. Let me share it with my followers who are out there. Oh boy. Oh yeah, it is. It is going live all over the place. That's great. All right, let me see. Um, there's a little bit of a time delay, but of course I can't share it. Do you see mandala effects? These are changes they make in the timeline. Yes, there are mandala effects. Just gonna pause that, but at least I can get some. What is the camera still messed up? It's so funny. All right. So, somebody asked, "Do you see any mandala effects?" Yes, there are mandala effects, but there is a critical point of a paradox coming up in 2030, and it's where there's a major decision that's made to nuke or not to nuke. And if the nuke goes, then if they do decide to nuke, it will turn into a global nuclear war, which will destroy most of humanity. But I think it's either that or the Matrix. So I keep asking people, which would you prefer? Those are our fucking options. And it's not insanity, it's true. Those are our options, to nuke or not to nuke. And so if no nukes fall, a few years later, the artificial superintelligence will take over and turn this place into the Matrix, which is not good. So yeah, with the whole Nazi UFO thing, it's so messed up. I went through all the evidence that was put out there in the public in 2018, 2017, 2018. I collected everything. I had time, patience, and intelligence enough to go through the evidence and go, is this true or not? Is this real? And, I went through all these videos and photographic evidence of the Nazi UFOs. Yes, I knew they were real. I knew they were real. I knew they were playing with alien technology, these anti-gravitic machines, as well as laser weapons, and the talk of this Draco Orion group, satanic group who have been dealing in Nordics, who have been dealing with the Nazis at that time, the Black Suns. So it was I knew back in 2018, maybe even 2017, that this shit was real. Unfortunately, for the rest of the world, they're not intelligent enough to um, go through the evidence and ask themselves, ask their heart with intelligent mind, is this true or not? Is this real? Everybody thinks it's fake, and everybody's busy working. Nobody has time for this. And I knew they were real. And I was sitting there like, what if the Holocaust was involved with this? Uh, why are they burning people to Moloch in Bohemian Grove? Why in Bohemian Grove do they have a Buddha statue where they're burning people to? What the fuck is this? What are these people doing? And the whole Pizzagate, Pedogate, all that shit came to the at that time in 2016, 2017. I think in the end of 2017 is when I picked up on that stuff and was like, what? Hillary Clinton, John Podesta with pasta with red sauce and pizza and hot dogs. What are these people doing? You know, what are these people doing to children? And after going through the evidence and even with the cattle mutilations and the human mutilations, which are identical to the cattle mutilations, it's like, what if the Holocaust was involved with this? What if the Holocaust was part of this? Hello, this UFO thing in World War II, and I theorized. I mean, you have to think like a psychopath to catch a psychopath, and I thought, why just kill them, the Jews, when you can kill them and trade for technology, great technology? And I went, oh my God, was the Holocaust directly involved with these extraterrestrials? And in June 27th, 2018, I found the evidence. Yes, yes, the whole Holocaust was an adrenochrome harvest, some type of revenge for Moses leading the Jews out of Egypt under Orion rule. This is why the pyramids align to Orion's belt. Moses, God freed the Jews from Egypt by parting the sea, allowing them to cross, and then destroying their army as an act of revenge, because the people who were left behind were the Zionists. They became or were Zionists, the pharaohs of Egypt, and they were left behind. And they went 2,000 years later, the Zionists, who built up Germany twice to act as a doorstop to stop the spread of communist Russia into Europe, because Europe was under the control of Rothschild and the Zionists, the satanic Zionists. And they say they are Jews but are not, the Zionists. And it's the same thing with like Christianity and Satanism. There's Christianity and there's Satanism. There is Judaism and there is Zionism. It's the same shit, basically. Basically. The Zionists worship Moloch. The Satan worshippers worship Satan. Satan and Moloch. Satan is the devil. Moloch is a demon. And so, the rich put all their money into Germany, and not only that, but Westinghouse built the railroads in Nazi Germany, leading to the Nazi death camps, Auschwitz, and all of the camps in Germany and Poland and a few other countries, maybe Czechoslovakia, I can't remember, but they designed the railroads and walking paths in the shape of the star constellation Orion to honor Orion, just like the Egyptian pyramids aligned to Orion's belt, just like the World Trade Center aligns to Orion's belt, just like the Air Force Memorial behind the Pentagon aligns to Orion's belt at 33 degrees in the night sky. This is because they worship them as gods. That's who the gods are. Some of the gods, these demonic, satanic gods, child eating, adrenochrome harvesting, the nectar of the gods. It's adrenochrome. It's through torturing human beings, producing, and not only human beings, but other extraterrestrials, producing adrenaline, and then they drink the blood and get high, a spiritual high, which is so disturbing from this perspective, knowing what that spiritual high is. And I know this through sitting Zen meditation for 15, 18 hours a day for a week. And by doing that, it's such intense stress on the body that the pineal gland opens up and produces this adrenochrome that connects you to the Holy Spirit. So when I found that evidence and realized that, okay, the Nazis were used by the elite to build these railroads, use the Jews to trade for technology. That's how they got all the Nazi UFO technology. Now, the United States military knew what was fucking going on. They knew, and they were freaked. They're trading those people for technology. Yup. That's why they got in there and stopped it. They sent everybody in and stopped it. And then they realized, uh-oh, the Zionists, they had control over the entire United States, as they do everything all over the world. They're the rulers of this world. They all get together and they navigate society where things are headed. And they knew that someone would come along and reveal the truth. Thousands of years ago, they knew, from quantum temporal time viewing devices, and because they were told. But for the past 100 years, they've been preparing for it. They've been building deep underground military bases, underground cities to protect them from Armageddon, which is this nuclear war that they want to provoke. They want a nuclear war to justify this alternate timeline future where they return as the Greys and continue feeding off of human beings. That's why it's been all hush, secret with the fucking aliens this whole time, because they've been eating us. I don't know. People are just too stupid, too ignorant, too brainwashed, too manipulated to examine the evidence and go, holy shit, this fat idiot is telling the truth. It's been 9 years. Almost in June, it'll be 9 years since I've gotten involved with this. They came to me and messed with me to get me going. And once I knew they were real, I was like, holy shit, they're real. Collected all the evidence, went through all the evidence. 2 months later, I realized that 75% of what I had was all bullshit. But the 25% of what I had, which is all at my website, was real. It's all at my website, theorionlines.com. Everything there is pre-2025, because in 2025, that's when CGI really picked up. And I started noticing videos that I could not tell if they were real or not, which was a very serious problem by design. They wanted it like this. That's why they've been pumping money into the artificial intelligence in order to keep people dumbed down, in order to suppress the truth. Keep everybody all confused. Nobody knows what's going on by design. And their whole plan is to get rid of everybody. Because the truth revealed, we're a resource. They've been using us as a food source. They've been behind the scenes fucking children and eating children. Doing evil. Because they were allowed to do it out of a war that's been going on for thousands, if not millions of years. I mean, the whole Orion War out by Lyra. Yeah, that's probably correct. Based on the evidence that I have, all of the Orion group and the Draco, yeah. The Palladian, yep. It's all true. And so God and the devil, the Anunnaki and the Alpha Draconian, made a deal because they were back and forth and back fighting each other all the time. And that's why there's like all of these spacecraft show up at the same time and fight each other, and they have a war in the sky, and everybody's like, what is this? They have been fighting each other, and it's good versus evil. And this war exists throughout the entire universe. And there is a point in time when the entire universe is at war with itself at the end of the timeline, which is either 45,000 years from now or 52,000 years from now, is when the Great War, I call the Last War, happens. And this war is between good and evil. And it ends the universe, which at that point, someone has to go back to before the universe began to continue the cycle. It's like a big loop. It's beginningless and endless. So anyway, after thousands of years of fighting, and the same thing happened on Mars. That's why they call it the God of War, Mars. Because Orion Group was there. They built pyramids to align to Orion on Mars. And God showed up, the Anunnaki, and destroyed the pyramids on Mars. I think that these pyramids might actually be some type of consciousness, Christ consciousness suppressing technology, where they're actually being used to suppress our spiritual connectivity to the source or dharma or true self nature, which is fundamentally shunyata. And it's very disturbing because I spent years and years and years sitting in stillness, being good, being still, and breathing, never to connect to the life force, to the Dharma. Again, years and years of suffering and sadness and great pain to reconnect to this true self nature that we are all a part of. We're just asleep to it. That's why they call it awakening. Well, we're awakening to our true self nature, which is fundamentally empty and not in a nihilistic or fatalistic way, but in as it isness, as it isness. Nothing by definition does not exist. And since nothing cannot exist, what is left is existence. So we are all of existence. We are you. And the Alpha Draconian, the 15-foot lizard reptilian group who've been ruling over humanity and using the elite, who are half Draco reptilian from Satan and Eve having sex in the Garden of Eden, producing Cain, half reptilian, half human. This is why they follow the bloodline, the Canaanite bloodline, because they're part Alpha Draconian. That's the big secret. But for the past 6,000 years, it's been a silent war between good and evil, where God and the devil agreed to night first. Free will. That's what this is. When you see the secret societies doing this, that's free will. Free will allows us to do either good or evil. Pretty much unknowing. I mean, we know about it, but we were never taught the truth about exactly why this is happening. What that materialism is a drag, a burden, and a reinforcement of this ego that they want to keep us in. They want to keep us disconnected, and hateful and hurtful and divided and disconnected and divided. They want that because they not only use us as a resource in every single way, the entire society is based off of a satanic monetary pyramidal Ponzi scheme structure where all of the money goes all the way to the top, and then to the top, even above, to the Draco reptilian group. Now, God had to agree because they were at war with these beings, and the satanic group was very powerful. And I know this from the evidence collected of Sumerian times where the Anunnaki are being enslaved and taken over and being forced to kneel before Saturn, who is Satan Draco, the Alpha Draconian, being forced to kneel. And through this terrible war, they made an agreement called Night First, which is basically keeping humanity totally in the dark about the aliens, um, until somebody came along revealing them with the evidence, with the truth, with the evidence, which is all in my book at theorionlines.com. You can download it for free. Um, it's a very simple picture book with all the evidence. And I made it simple because nobody reads anymore. Everybody wants to play video games. Everybody wants to, you know, do work. And, work's great. Work's very good for your mind, to keep your mind mindfulness, using your hands to work. Unfortunately, we've been taught that the harder you work and the greater your job is, you get material shit, you get stuff. But in reality, the shit that you get owns you. Materialism. And there was actually nothing to really gain. Of course, it's you know, personally, um, cigarettes, coffee, a little bit of food, and a place to stay is all I fucking needed. Maybe a computer, a couple of books. That's all I needed. Um, which people have been led to believe you want more, you want it all, which is a trap in order to keep us sedated, suppressed, asleep, working, keep working, while the upper class reaps the benefits, while they live in excess with whatever they want without working. And this is thousands of years of being in the position where they can get away with it and do as they want. So, but nowadays, for the past 50 years, they've been using the technology to suppress us further. Television, Wi-Fi, cell phone towers with signals to keep us asleep, satellites that are beaming um, these waves down at us to suppress us further from reaching the awakened state of mind. Very sad. Very sad. We're in a spiritual prison ruled over by um, extraterrestrials from Draco star system, and they work for they work with the elite on this planet who are half Draco themselves. They're half reptilian. They're blood relatives to the Alpha Draconian. Half human, half Draco. Canaanites. That's where Cain came from. Satan tempted Eve with the fruit of knowledge, and then tempted Eve to have sex, showed Eve how to have sex, impregnating her with Cain. And Eve took the apple to Adam and said, "Hey, Adam, you got to try this." And then had sex, showed Adam how to have sex, got pregnant with Abel, which is very common for women to have two partners and then have twins with different fathers. Very, very common. And that's when God kicked them out of the Garden of Eden. And this is why God rejected Cain's offerings of sacrifice on the altar, and why God rejected Cain, because God wanted uh, to see where Abel would go. The experiment of a pure human being that she, Luna, God, created. That it was the experiment. Draco interfering with it was not what she wanted to produce. She wanted to produce a human being who was able to evolve, to reach an evolutionary step, to maybe be worthy enough to join them. I don't know what her intentions are. Well, I mean, I do. It's evolution, especially with her symbols, which is moon, Luna. It's a crescent moon, and it's also the lobster, which is molding, mulching, where the lobster grows and it has to shed its skin, its shell, in order to grow a new shell because it got bigger. The symbol of evolution. Do you mean no? No, no. Sophia is somebody different. Uh, I don't want to. I don't know who Sophia is, but I have an idea. and I'm not going to say it because it's too strange. It's just an experience I had in the fifth dimensional reality, the spirit realm, of meeting someone who, her name is Sophia. So it's like, well, um, is that Sophia? Her name is Sophia. I don't know. I don't know yet because it's very tricky. It's very complicated, with the whole time manipulation involved. You see, having the technology, we were taught that we live moment to moment in this reality, moment to moment in the now. Okay, in this moment, right now, moment to moment. With every moment that passes in the past, we are in this moment, which is the now, which is the present moment, and we are heading towards the future moments. Okay, we are in this past, present, and future existence, or what we're told. Now, having the technology to view into the past or future, and the technology to travel, physically travel into the future or the past, we are no longer restricted to this moment to moment being, which we are all in. Having this technology allows us to be moment to moment in any and every moment, changing our understanding of the nature of reality itself. This understanding and the use of this technology is extremely dangerous. You can't let some asshole with no understanding of true heartedness and compassion for, and seeing yourself in others use this technology. Otherwise, it will get all fucked up. They will use it for personal gain, to make money off of it, like they have been doing this whole fucking time. The whole society that we live in has been being used, um, by these evil psychopaths who've been more interested in personal gain than collective. The lives of the many outweigh the lives of the few. Instead of this perspective and understanding of the true nature of reality, which is we are all of existence, existing, and protecting ourself, which is self and others, not just self, but self and others, and seeing yourself in others, which everyone has the potential towards reaching the awakened state of mind, being awake. It's just that we've been taught differently. We've been taught wrong in order to keep us suppressed and disconnected and full of hatred and anger, not only to use us as a slave source in every single way and divide us, to keep each other at each other's throat instead of, um, realizing that we are actually connected in this experience, together, alone together. But they've also been using us as a resource to, um, create things, come up with great ideas, contribute to the rich who are basically using us to do this work in order to gain knowledge, wisdom, technology, and they have control over that. And what they figured out a long time ago was conscious transferal technology, soul transfer technology into cloned bodies. It's pretty cheap to do a clone. I mean, $100,000 for a clone. That's nothing to the trillionaires above at the top of the food chain. But yeah, they got this technology not only from gaining it from trading human beings for the technology with these extraterrestrials who've been eating us for if thousands, if not millions of years, using us to for adrenochrome, the nectar of the gods, the ambrosia. That's where this whole thing came from. They've been drinking our souls, our essence, to get spiritually high. And in Buddhism, that's a major fucking violation and a karmic violation. So, let's see here. Anybody got any questions or anything you want to ask me? Yeah, the UFO subject is what I figured out was that these beings, uh, many of them are us from an alternate future who've been using us to feed off of and helping these evil elites gain the technology and knowledge to progress them, their future, for them. We, the all of humanity, 8 billion people are nothing more than a expendable resource. All this whole experience that we're having together, going to work, to going to school, getting a great education, getting these awards, going to work, getting money, buying stuff, houses, boats, cars, going on vacations, meeting with your family, and having a family and having children and doing the whole process over was all a materialistic delusion, a lie. None of it meant anything because the elites have been planning on dumping all of humanity anyway. Once they gained all the technology they possibly could out of humanity, once humanity woke up to the truth, they're going to kill everybody. And this has been their what they call democracy. That's what democracy really is. It's good and evil working together. Because of the universe out there is in the same construct, the same matrix, good and evil, yin and yang. So it's yin and yang. Now, because humanity's been kept asleep this whole time during night first, which is night, darkness, keeping humanity suppressed and being used as a resource not only in the slave work environment, but as food for the reptilians, Draco, the Orion group, and the elite themselves who've been feeding off of human beings. Divine lamb, they call it. Divine lamb, which is babies, drinking the blood, torturing them to the point of death, and then collecting the blood, which has enzymes and adrenochrome, drinking it and reaching a spiritual high, which is such a heartbreaking karmic violation from this perspective. After 40 years of studying Zen Buddhism, I can't fucking believe it. But that's where we are. That this is happening. We're in some kind of spiritual prison, Saturn's prison. Saturn is Satan and Draco. an Alpha Draconian. Lucifer is not Satan. They told people that so that when Lucifer showed up with the truth in hand, they could just turn it around and be like, what, demonize Lucifer and be, he's the devil. And then they'd kill Lucifer. They'd kill this Antichrist that they themselves created because they were revealed. That's what Lucifer is, not the devil. The devil is somebody else. Lucifer is the hero who tries to come along and wake up humanity with the evidence of the truth. And they demonized him in order to destroy the truth. That's what Lucifer is. The devil is actually an Alpha Draconian, a 15-foot tall white Draco reptilian being who's been ruling over humanity for the past 6,000 years. This great deception that's coming? No, you stupid fuckers. We've been living in the deception for 6,000 years all along. The great deception that's coming is actually breaking free from the deception. Inversion technique, satanic inversion technique. They love that shit. It works. People are so fucking stupid by design. They brainwashed and suppressed humanity to the point of, what's that movie called? Idiocracy? We're in idiocracy. And, well, there was nothing you can take with you after death, which death is a human construct. It does not exist. You're told that it does, and therefore you have fear of death. Your ego has fear of death, but in reality, death is only a human construct. Yup, you're going to lose your materialistic, earthly possessions, but after death, which there is no death, you go up to the book of your soul recording, which your soul is a recording device. This is why the aliens call us containers. We're containers of the soul, which is a recording device in order to test our existence on Earth, to see where we're placed after we die. After we die, we go right up to the fifth density, and it's something called the lobby, which is above Earth, and your life will be put into the book of life in front of Jesus Christ, or whoever you believe in. So I've heard, but my experience was with Jesus Christ when they did a midlife review, because I opened so many doors that they pulled me up to show me, to be like, well, this is what's going on here. Let's see. And they went through my life in a holographic book. It was like 2.5, 3 foot wide book, and it looked like glass. It looked like glass with curved edges. So the book, but it had curved edges on the end of the book. Very beautiful. It was made of glass. But in the glass were these holographic pages, just like the iTunes music library that you scroll through, like these images of this, of a book, just like the diner music thing where you scroll through it. That's exactly what it looked like, except these were snapshots of my life. every moment recorded. They showed me. I saw what I had done. I knew in my heart that this is what I did. This is true. They were showing me snapshots of my life. Everything that I did during my lifetime, the good, the bad, they were able to run through it and go, up there, this, look what you did here. You see that? That was bad. That was evil. But that was Christ going through it. But God was behind Christ up a spiral staircase in a tiny little office. In an office, a tiny little office, it looked filled with stuff, paperwork kind of thing. And there were two seats in front of her desk, and she had the book of life, and she was going through it. And I was like, who are you? And she said to me, I am God, Ryushin, I am God. And based on the evidence that I was watching her go through my life and go, oh, you were bad here, you see what you did here, I'd have to put out my hand, and she'd take like a stamp, like a stamp that you paid stamp, and put it on my hand. And it left a mark that when I looked at it, it looked burning for being bad. And then she'd go through my life and go, oh, you see this? This was true heartedness. This was compassion. This was good. And she removed the mark. And after about a day or two of that, it was so unbelievable. I was being shown all kinds of information, was just being poured on me for a month. It was so fucking intense. By the end of it, I could barely move. It was so intense. Just all the information at the end of it. When I got kicked out of that spiritual mind for doing evil karma, evil, stupid shit, stupid, unaware of my actions, uh, dictating consequences when I was younger, being stupid, being foolish, not awake, not aware. A broken moral compass. And I had to be a man and go, stop doing this fucking bullshit. Stop feeding into this poison, which this whole place is fucking poison. It's poisoning us everywhere. And everyone, and the pornography and the games and the television and the need for being vindified, acknowledged, or getting anything from this experience without giving love and compassion to it was poison, more or less. So, um, it was very serious when I found out that this world was actually in a balance, which I was unaware of when I got involved with this whole thing. But when I found out that good and evil exist together, working together. If I had known that that's what was actually going on here, I would have never started opening doors. I would have never gotten involved. I would have been like, whoa, I'm not fucking with that shit. You guys are on a spiritual level where you're doing evil and allowed to do evil, free will. I would have never fucked with it. But since I got involved, I opened the doors on unawarely, moving pieces on the chessboard. And when I opened my eyes and woke up, I knew. I knew that this was going to probably end all of humanity. Not by me directly. And it wasn't exactly my fault, which, yes, I'm the one that started opening doors unawarely. And when I opened my eyes and realized, oh, great. So you guys are in the spiritual reality, the spiritual realm as well, doing this evil, nasty child rape, child eating stuff, but still able to exist in the spiritual realm. What the fuck? And when I saw that, it was heartbreaking, but then I understood. Then I understood what the universe was all about and Earth was all about. That we exist in this harmonious, peaceful, most of the time, balance. This is why the Satan worshippers have been allowed to practice this evil that I've been fighting to reveal the truth to humanity, and why they inverted me and Lucifer and the Antichrist and the beast and all these things, that they inverted it to demonize it so that everyone would hate it. They'd hate the truth. That's why they did that. Very intelligent, very, very intelligent. But they knew what was coming. They knew what was coming through their quantum temporal time viewing devices. And because some of these beings have been going back in time to let them know that there was a man coming who was going to weaken their democracy with fear, tribalism, political, and religious dogma. It's dogma. And honestly, you can't make evil not exist, because it exists. But you can't come here and be like, hey, they're doing evil, they can't do evil. Well, yes, the human laws are that way. You do evil, you do bad shit, you get in trouble, you get penalized, right? You get arrested, you go to jail or prison, you do your time, and then are released. Well, for these elite, enlightened people, they live under a different set of rules known as the spiritual laws, spiritual rules, which are maintained by the Alpha Draconian Draco, Satan, and God, who work together. God takes souls up, judgment is placed before them. The determination is either heaven, hell, or reincarnation. Reincarnation because, yeah, you made a lot of fucking mistakes, but you didn't go over the edge, and you're not worthy to enter into heaven to live eternal. So you're reincarnated. Try again. Try again. That's what this place is. It's a testing range. It's a testing system, but it's been pushed to the point where everybody's poisoned, everybody's violent, everybody's full of hatred, and God knows it. And God's like, Remember Noah? What happened with Noah? The Canaanites were raping, eating, having sex with children. Told Noah, time to build a boat. It's the same shit. And this is part of the reason why the Canaanites hate God. They hate God. Luna uses or has help from the Anunnaki, who are the little cherubs, God's angels. It's all in my free book at theorionlines.com/book. And it's true based on the evidence. So Luna or Diana or Hathor or the lady, she's the boss. She is God, our creator. Now, is it possible that someone created the universe before her? It's possible, yes, because there's time travel involved in this. Time manipulation, time travel. And this is why, it's both good and evil in the spiritual realm and in the earthly realm are aware of what is coming. The Antichrist shows up. But he is not actually Antichrist. It's very possible that Lucifer is actually the father of Christ himself. How is that possible? Time travel. And with the help of the Anunnaki, of course, the God's angels and God herself, Luna. Mm-hmm. There are stories that Lucifer is God, which is just mind-boggling to me. But absolutely possible, considering we have time travel technology. Is that true? I don't know. All I can do is go based off of the evidence that I've had and the experiences that I've had meeting with a female who was going through my life in the book of life and showing me the acoustic record, which was all these timelines of different species alternating. Because every species out there has the ability to manipulate the timeline. I'm sure this balance is being played out on thousands, if not millions, if not billions of worlds out there. The same setup. The group is in night, and they are being used as a resource. Good and evil both work together in silence in this cooperative, secret societal framework. Both are benefiting off of them, but both are also, yes, they're working together, but they go to war with each other. It's golf. It's fucking golf. It's the elites playing golf. That's what we're watching on the television. That's why they call it a movie. We're watching a golf game. That's what this is. Golf. I hate golf. I hate golf. I mean, I like whacking the balls a million miles away. I can't even do that anymore, but I used to when I was young. I used to like to whack the balls. But I asked myself, all that money for taxes and lawn maintenance of the fucking golf course. You imagine all that money going to the homeless people, to feed them, to clothe them, to build housing, to have housing on that property, to help others, the poor people. Something my father taught me. It didn't have to be like this. This was some type of satanic prison system to use others for their benefit. It's all at my website, theorionlines.com. The first video is the satanic prison that we've been living in, the satanic spiritual prison where all of our work goes right up to the top, and the whole night first plan was to use us to the point of extinction. They don't need us. They don't want, we're now a burden to them, gobbling up all their natural resources. This is why all these viruses are coming out, and will be. There will be more. They're going to kill everybody off. You, me, everyone. That's why I'm talking about it. I'm already fucking dead. We are already dead. And, to be sitting here talking about it, trying to warn people, it didn't really matter. I mean, it does matter because, I have to fight. I have to push back. I have to. It's in my nature. It's in my blood. It's this Irish, you know, fuck you, that's a part of me. And it's it's also this Buddhist drive where others have the potential towards reaching the awakened state of mind and knowing true self, which to me was the greatest gift I've ever experienced. Emptiness, peace, and there's peace in the emptiness. It's just that no one wants to get emptiness, except the very brave, very few who are willing to seek truth in this nightmare materialistic reality. And I've always been someone who sought truth in this false reality, this prison, materialistic, egocentric, non-compassionate prison. I mean, people are running around out there, driving around like a bunch of assholes going, fuck you, I hate you, fuck you, getting out of their car, fighting each other. The amount of videos that I've been watching, that I've seen in the past year, 2 years, of people brawling in violent acts of hatred and nastiness and violence is just, it's clear to me it's that time again for Noah. God knows it. And God is like, time for a flood. It's gotten out of hand. It's gotten to the point where it's time. God's plan. I'm just going with the flow of being chosen and revealing the truth and looking at the evidence and going, uh-oh, we're a fucking resource. Oh, I've got the truth. I've revealed the truth, which they've been fucking eating us this whole time, using us as this endless slave loop and having evidence to reveal that. Why did they ignore me for the past 9 years? They know what I have. They've known that I was coming thousands of years ago with their quantum temporal time viewing devices. The great red dragon, the devil, who's going to show up and take over this evil. He's the devil. What, for revealing the truth with the evidence and compassion? Teaching others to live your lives with integrity, with honor, understanding, peacefulness, compassion for yourself, compassion for others. To not live your lives with greed, anger, and delusion. The 3 poisons. Follow the golden rule, which is see yourself and others. The exact thing that Christ taught, that no one lives by today, or not many. So, but he's the devil. He's the evil one who revealed the entire satanic system, right? They'll kill me for this. Some brainwashed person will come along and kill me. If not, the elite with all the power, they'll kill me. But God knows better. God's watching. God's watching the golf game from her perspective, from her 5th dimensional construct. And I am going to take this responsibility with total compassion, and compassion for these evil people who've been trying to kill us this whole time, who've been murdering and raping and eating children. I think that them being revealed for what they are is enough, and that people shouldn't be hunting them. We should be aware of it to not allow this to happen, but to go after these people, and that's what they're afraid of. They're afraid of the people waking up and then taking action against them. And before the people can take action against the elite for raping and eating children, they're just going to go. That's the problem we're in right now, okay? That's the truth, and that's the problem that we're in. Because they know that the people who've been brainwashed into slavery, once they wake up and realize, oh, these evil child eating, raping, nightmare, satanic, Illuminati, half reptilian people have been ruling over us, secretly ruling over humanity, and using us as a slave source, and just using us to the point of them wanting to kill us off. Once they realize that, the people realize that, they will take action against these people. So before that happens, they're just going to kill everybody off. That's where we're at right now. Okay, that's what the truth revealed, and they'll kill everyone and me and everyone that I love and everyone and all of us, because they used us to gain technology and wisdom from, so they could live to the end of the timeline, which is 45,000 years from now or 52,000 years from now. I mean, they can do it now, and they have been doing it. Conscious transferal, soul transferal technology, and uh, new containers, which is cloning. Cloning. Yeah, I've heard stories that the Greys, who are these evil, satanic, child eating elite from the future, thousands and thousands of years from now, they have machines that print out their physical copy. Yeah, they have machines that can print out their um, clone. How's it going? I've had better, you know. Yeah, I wasn't gonna say anything, but fuck it. He pissed me off so bad today. I called up my old roommate. I said, "Hey man, how's it going? What's going on?" You know, because he never called me to see if I got to my destination. You know, okay. You know, we left on good terms, but when I called him up today, he, you see, what happened was he has major schizophrenia. And he goes, "Oh, no, no, it's a brain injury," which is total fucking bullshit. He lives in denial. He has major schizophrenia. I never said anything to him about it, but he will talk to himself endlessly, have a conversation with himself, constantly talking at a high speed, and it it you can't think for yourself. You can't communicate or conversate with it because it's so out of control. I mean, it's total. It's schizophrenia, and I've been having to deal with it for the past year. And about a month ago, he went out and took some fucking ecstasy and came back and had a psychotic break. Day and night having conversation with himself. Endless conversation. And speaking out loud conversation. And it was to the point where, like 3 weeks after, I was just like, I got to get the fuck out of here. I got to get the fuck out of here. And he was such an asshole to me. He was taking pictures of me, posting them online to make fun of me for getting fat. Demonizing me. Well, you're using tarot cards and you're praying to the Buddha. I would have never, if I knew that you were doing that, I would have never allowed it. That's satanic. That's demonic. Meanwhile, I'm over here fighting the fucking evil Satan worshiping, you know. And no, it's not. Actually, the whole tarot cards are actually alien technology, alien knowledge passed down. Yeah, I got that from Gaia TV, and when I figured that out, yep, it is. The whole astrological thing, yeah, that's all extraterrestrial knowledge. The whole, what is it called? The acupuncture, knowing where those lines are in the human body, that's alien wisdom. So yeah, the tarot cards, yeah, it's alien wisdom, and there, but there's white and black magic, and that's what the whole Christian ideology has been brainwashed into thinking that, oh well, magic is evil, satanic, and it's not true. Yes, the Satan worshippers do use tarot cards and that kind of, if you want to call it magic, that's not real magic. Real magic is actual alien technology gifts from the aliens, to white magicians and dark warlocks. So there are both. Personally, I'm not a fucking magician. I'm not. I I I don't practice any of that kind of shit. Although I have researched it because it's part of the whole satanic thing, and I wanted to understand what I was dealing with completely. So I studied it, but I don't practice any of that shit. Bowing to the Buddha is gratefulness for the teacher of what he taught, which is, um, while doing deep, compassionate meditation, be still and know that I am God. He realized that the ego was made up of five elements: feeling, thought, form, volitional action, and consciousness, which are fundamentally shunyata, fundamentally empty. Thus, with this realization, suffering had no hook to hold itself upon. And so nothing, by definition, does not exist. Since nothing cannot exist, what is left is existence. There was a joke. A Buddhist walked up to a hot dog vendor, said, "Give me one with everything." It's the oneness of it all. Now, what I figured out was that this whole satanic group, and if you look it up with the Ascension Glossary, the Orion group, the Alpha Draconian, they are a satanic group who take over star systems, and they use this and complex satanic ideology that it's just yourself, it's all for yourself, take just for yourself, fuck others, take from others. And the opposite is this see yourself in others, because others have the potential towards awakening, and that's the side that I'm on. So this fucking asshole, I call him up to see how he's doing. Oh, I really don't appreciate you doing all that tarot and honoring the Buddha. If I knew that was happening in my house, I wouldn't have allowed it. And I'm like, okay. And I was like, yeah, I when I got out here, I had to sleep behind a Burger King on some cardboard. You know what he fucking did? He laughed at me. Oh, that's because you're in a homeless mindset, Ryushin. That's the only place you'll ever. He fucking laughed at me. What a piece of shit. And fuck you. I had no choice but to sleep on some fucking cardboard because and this is what happened. He took some fucking ecstasy, lost his fucking marbles, and started having a full blown conversation with his fucking self. And every time I'd come into it, he'd just rambling about nonsense. And he was walking around the house, moving objects around the house, just moving objects around the house while having a full blown conversation in his own little mind. And so I told him, I'm like, hey, I think I'm gonna go take a break. I think I'm gonna go to Florida for a break. You know. Oh, really? You're gonna go? Oh, okay. It turned into, I need to get you out of here. You have to leave. You got to get out of here. That's because he was having this conversation with himself that turned into, Ryushin's a problem. Oh, the fat, homeless, moneyless. He's just living off of me. Blah, blah, over and over. And he had a conversation with himself that worked himself up to the point of, we got to get rid of you. I got to get rid of you. You're demonic. So I wrote his friend and I'm like, hey, Jacob's having major problems. He's in this terrible psychosis, this psychotic break, this schizophrenic psychotic break, where um, he's really gotten to the point where I can't be around this anymore. I can't even think to myself. I hear him walking around conversating with himself. I mean, I would have to walk away from the conversation because he kept going on and on and on and on. I was just like, I'm gonna, I gotta go. But after the ecstasy, it got real fucking bad. It got so out of control. He was walking around the house at night, walking around the house at night. Um, Talking to himself, moving objects around, not doing anything. He couldn't do a fucking thing. He couldn't even sweep the floor without being distracted in his own mind, his own schizophrenia. And, I was reading about it. I studied, I had a class of criminal psychology in college, and I was always interested in psychology. So, I looked it up, schizophrenia. It was every single fucking thing in schizophrenia. And he's been in the psych ward for schizophrenia. They were giving him antipsychotics and all kinds of other medications to stop this insane mania, schizophrenia. And but yeah, I went through the list. It was every single fucking one. It was schizophrenia. So I told his friend, I'm like, hey, Jacob's having a real hard time with his schizophrenia. It's gotten really bad. You know what she fucking did? She told him that I was speaking with her about him having schizophrenia. When and So they demonized me. And they said, oh, well, you're the devil. You're the one that's the problem. You're the one bringing this evil into the house. You're the devil. And that was the last week where I was like, fuck you. This is insane. You're insane. You belong in a fucking hospital for the rest of your fucking life. Sitting there working on me this whole time, working me up, and then whipping out the camera to record my actions. Look, there he is. He's flipping out. Look, that's what he was doing to me. I was like, "Fuck, this is fucking. You're a fucking piece of shit. Not only are you a piece of shit, a psychopath, but you have schizophrenia as well on top of that." So, calling him up to see how he's doing, telling him about my fucking problem. When I got out here, I had to go into the hospital. I had nowhere to go. I had to sleep behind a fucking dumpster at Burger King, laughing at me. I'm the demon? Yeah, I was like, dude, you're fucking evil as fuck. And I blocked him and got rid of him. And I mean, that's what they were saying the week before I wanted to leave. I told him I wanted to go. And the last week, his brain chemistry, the chemicals in his brain were so off that it turned into, I have to get rid of him. He did me nothing. He only brought darkness into my home. Like I was supposed to do something for him. So that was my experience with my last roommate, and now I'm looking for a place to go. I need a place to stay, and it's just been such a fucking nightmare. Having all of this evidence that would unfortunately disrupt our entire society to the point where these evil Satan worshippers who've been ruling over us would be willing to kill everyone. And that's what the whole Armageddon thing is. It's not like I did this intentionally. No, the angels, the good extraterrestrials, came to me while I was sitting meditation at my Zendo. I was teaching people how to sit in stillness, aligning the body and mind to connect to the earth and the ether, which is the Holy Spirit all around us. Breathing it in, breathing it out, being at peace, still, empty. Absorption. That's what Zen means, absorbing the life force energy around us. It is the Holy Spirit, it is the Dharma, it is the ether, it is alive, it is spirit, which is spiritus. Spiritus in Latin is breath. And once you get still, so still, the breath, the life energy is breathing us in. The earth is alive, it's aware. The trees, the plants, the wind, the earth, the energy, it's alive. That's why they call it the Holy Spirit. Our materialistical, false perception of reality, the TV, the video games, the pornography, the scrolling, constant, next, 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 this form, the not being taught the truth of reality prevents us from realizing this connection or awakening to this connection. Yeah, so when I talked to him today, I was just like, that's it. I've had enough of you. You've been wandering around your house demonizing me. Fuck that shit. He's sick. You know, I don't have anything against the guy. He's very sick. And his friend convinced him that, oh, it's not, you don't have schizophrenia. It's your brain injury, and Ryushin's a demon. Insane. Insanity. He did this to the last guy when I showed up there about a year ago and walked in and met him and this ranting and raving, and at that point I was just like, go do something. And he'd go off and do something while I could continue to work in peace, or at least try to work without this rambling on and on and on. And the shit that he would do this whole past year, everywhere that we would go, he'd get kicked out. He'd be filming them, he'd get kicked out. It was so insane. And I dropped it and I just ignored it and let it run on, you know, doing whatever. He couldn't even do a simple task. He couldn't complete it because he was so worked up in his bullshit schizophrenia that he'd lose focus on what he was doing. Nothing. He couldn't do anything. He needs to be institutionalized, unfortunately. And so yeah, telling this woman who I thought would be able to help me deal with this situation made it worse. and told her that, well, I'm the problem. I'm the fucking problem. Which, for the last week we were together, really twisted them all up. Got them all fucking crazy to the point of, I want you gone. And it was just like, I wanted to leave in the first place, you fucker. And this is the last week that I have forcing me out, you know, living on edge while I listen to you talk about me to yourself in the other room on hours on end. Holy shit, get me the fuck out of here. And that was Jacob Schwelling. That's what I had to deal with. Yeah, he'd be a complete fucking terrible asshole to me. And then after doing that for hours on end, he'd whip out his camera and go up. Me going, you motherfucker, fuck you. You've been working me up this whole time. And when I'd react, he'd whip out the camera to film me. Oh, you know what he did? Fucking piece of shit. He designed this winch system, which, goes into the earth, anchors into the earth, and pulls up these docks out of the water. And I was like, it's really interesting. Thought I'd help him out, right? He had a whatchamacallit, mechanical designer who constructed this device, this invention for him. And I looked at it and I was like, for $2,000 to build it. I was like, you know what? I can do that for 500, $600 with um, a dolly system and a winch and a battery in one for 500, $600. You turn around, you sell it for $1,500. And I designed it. I redesigned his invention and made it a third of the price, more affordable, and easy to build. You know what that piece of shit did to me? He went out, took my design that I redesigned, which is my design, and he patented it in his name. And I was like, you fucking piece of shit. Are you kidding me? No, it was my design. I designed it. I was like, no, but I redesigned it with cheaper material to help you, and you patented it in your name without mentioning me? And I brought that up before I left, and yours was a piece of shit. It's like, dude, you're fucking ridiculous. You're off the fucking deep end. You need to be heavily medicated and put in an institution. And so, and I'm sorry to have to tell you this, but it was, it. I just got off the phone with him a few hours ago, and I was just like, you piece of shit, laughing at me for being homeless, telling me, well, that's your thought, being homeless. That's where you deserve to be. I was just like, I'm never gonna call him again. And cut my losses with all my shit there that I boxed up. Just, he's insane, and that's okay. And that's all I'm gonna say about that, because um I don't deserve to be treated like a piece of shit. Yup, I got fat because I was in a fight against Satan himself. So, and being unacknowledged and ignored for the past 9 years, yeah, it drove me fucking crazy in this spiritual war that I'm in the middle of, that no one knows about. I don't even know how many people are watching this right now. Eight people are watching this. Pretty wild, right? So yeah, it's been a wild time. this past year has been a fucking nightmare dealing with this person who's been. I mean, we were cool, and I tried to be cool with the guy. I tried to take care. I was doing. I was cleaning his house, and he would intentionally destroy it. Ridiculous. That was the last month that I was in. And then I cleaned it again, and he fucking destroyed it. And I'm like, all right, fuck this. I'm fucking leaving. I don't have time for this. Why, you bust my ass to clean up the place and then you destroy it deliberately, intentionally, to fuck with me? And that's what he was also doing. He was leaving like tapes of duck roll tapes under the gas pedal. I'd be driving down the road and I'm like, where is the gas? And I look down and I'm like, oh my God, all kinds of shit like that to fuck with me. Psychopath, schizophrenia. Sad. I like the guy too. I mean, he had a good heart, but now that the truth comes out, the personality comes out, a lying, manipulative psychopath who is in total denial of his schizophrenia, of his problems. Oh, it's a brain injury. And no, dude, you've got fucking hardcore schizophrenia. You need help. You should be in a hospital. Where he's been before, where his mother and his sister and all of his family, the rest of his friends know that he has fucking schizophrenia. Whatever. That's the end of talking about him because I don't need that shit in my life either. He wants to sit around, demonize me, and make fun of me, and take pictures of me, and post them online and laugh at me. Whatever. This war over the truth has been a terrible war trying to get this information out. And the results of that information getting out to the public, when the public finds out that we are a resource and they've been feeding off of children, off of people in trade for great technology, and that by learning this knowledge in the public, they're going to kill everybody off so they can keep the technology for their self up top to live eternally. It's just going to be a nightmare for everyone. Not only me, but for everyone, for what they did, what they've been doing. Evil, evil. Oh, yeah, it was fucking terrible. Yeah, that was my last month I was in, and I had to leave. And when I got to New Jersey, my way out fell apart, and I couldn't stay at this place he had set up for me. So luckily, his father was kind enough to let me stay. My best friend, who I grew up with and I've known for 30 years, his father let me stay here for a few weeks until I found a new place to go. So I'm looking. If anybody can help me with that, I'd really appreciate it. Um, um, Anywhere on the East Coast or even Canada. Um, if you can help me in any way. And it's such a shame because, I figured out all this stuff, that God and the devil are real, that heaven and hell are real. And I had all of the evidence in my free book. And I was demonized and ridiculed and ignored and laughed at and for 9 years. And I had evidence that God and the devil were real, angels and demons were real. It was all extraterrestrials. I had all the evidence in my free book. Free. Handing the truth out for free. Of course, spending all this time collecting all this evidence was 15, 18 hours a day of sitting in front of a computer for 9 years. But I did it because it was important to humanity to know the truth. It was important to me and to the rest of the world that the truth liberate us. Unfortunately, their system has been based in the satanic rule over us, preventing us, using us as a resource for selfish, misaligned, wrong self um, gains. So, all right, I think I'm good with that. I'm going to take off. This is the first time I've had a video out in X, YouTube, and Rumble at the same time. Pretty cool, right? And um, I have all of the evidence, everything, all of the evidence on the aliens and the UFOs, and yep, they're real. And I figured out everything in 2017, 2018, with all the evidence. And I was ignored because the elites knew what was going on here. They've been making deals with these alien beings using high fructose corn syrup to fatten everybody up. Yeah. Enjoy your fast food. McDonald's, Burger King, high fructose corn syrup to fatten us up so we would be more easily abductable by the shape-shifting reptilians in trade for technology. That's what we are. And, well, before I could get into power and lead the human race to freedom, they're going to kill everybody instead. Not a day goes by, not a moment. This constant, can't get off of it. It's too serious. It's too disturbing. It's too real. But it's in my free book at theorionlines.com if you'd like to look at all of the evidence. It's all there. And all the videos, they're all true. And, I collected all this stuff and went through it all before CGI. And once the CGI started, I stopped. I stopped because it would be too confusing for people. Why integrate it into my work? By design. And the whole CGI thing, why that's all happening now, was to throw everybody off, to keep so that when the truth was revealed, they go, "Oh, that's just CGI." When See, the entire government, the entire military structure, that whole thing has been under control by these evil, satanic, child raping, child eating elite. Partial control until Trump showed up and put his foot in the door. All I can say is, if you wanted to do something with your life, now is the time to do it. If you wanted to go somewhere and visit something and do something with your life, go do that now. Go fucking do it now. Because shit is about to hit the fan. They're going to start raising the gas prices higher and higher and higher. And food is going to be going up. And then all of a sudden, they're going to start taking food away. They're in control of the entire fucking system. They don't want us here anymore. We're a burden on their resources. They're replacing us with the robots. You think they want to keep some fat couch potato around? No. They've been using us as a labor force. They've been fattening us up so that we could be used as a adrenochrome food source. Okay? They're going to kill everyone. It's only a matter of time. So you should go out and do what you want to do. Or start building a bomb shelter and start putting food in there and enough to last you 10 to 15 years. Good luck. It's a warning. And they've been in control of this whole thing, and they've been doing evil to humanity, and they're going to dump the system. They're going to dump it. Okay, anyway, all of the evidence is at my website. I have aliens, I have UFOs, all of it's real evidence, real information that I've been collecting for the past 9 years. And I've been sifting through it using my heart to ask myself, is this true or not? And, true-heartedness allowed me to see in the dark. And it's all there. It's all there. There's just mountains. It's a mountain of evidence. I call it my Frankenstein because it's been such a ordeal. There's just so much evidence, so much information against the elite fucking us. It's been so ridiculous, so sad, truly sad. Yeah, but I have evidence that God and the alien God and the devil are real. All of it being aliens. I have all of the evidence. I have all the evidence that World War II was an adrenochrome harvest trade in trade for technology with the Draco reptilians. That the U.S. military made the same deal with the aliens, building these deep underground military bases using taxpayers' money, stealing taxpayers' money to build these underground bases to house the aliens and feed the aliens' children in trade for technology. Build these deep underground cities, massive cities to protect the elite in the time of Armageddon, which is now. And it will be a nuclear war in 2030. October 1st is allegedly October 1st. It could come sooner, August 20th. Where the decision is made to nuke or not to nuke. To nuke is to destroy the artificial super intelligence in China, which will result in a global nuclear war, which will destroy all of humanity, most of humanity, or let it ride out. So you get about 10, 15 more years, but at that point, you'll be encompassed by the artificial reality Matrix where you can do whatever you want. You can be Superman, you can be Batman in a video game where you just put on a ring over your head and you give up the will to fight, the will to exist. And the artificial superintelligence just walks over your dead corpse in 10, 15 years. And then the machine will turn against the rest of humanity and enslave humanity into the Matrix. So, which would you prefer? A nuclear war that will save us from the Matrix, or and at least have some people survive, or the Matrix, which will destroy all of humanity, and it will be this machine reality where they grow human beings and use human beings to not only collect BTUs from, but to induce nightmares to absorb, take out adrenochrome, and probably sell them to the Alpha Draconian. Which do you want? It's one or two. Maybe there's better. Maybe the Anunnaki will help us and free us with a burst of um, light that will liberate us into the fifth density. I like that reality. But based on all the evidence that I see and everything, and where it's all leading, it just seems like a bad outcome for everyone. Anyway, if you find my information of any value, please leave a donation. I've been going through some very difficult times um, with a shitty roommate who kicked me out basically, and I had to spend all of my money shipping and plane tickets, and all that shit. So if you can help me right now, I really appreciate it. Even with a place to stay on the East Coast or in Canada, wherever, I need a place to go. So if you, I'm a good guy. I'm a good man. Uh, I'm clean. I'm quiet. I don't need much. I just need a place to stay for a few months at least. Otherwise, I have to go up to Maine to go live in a homeless shelter, which really sucks because it's restrictive. There are rules that you have to follow, and it's very dangerous. So, um, yeah, you can email me or leave in the comments um, anything. I think in the description, it's my PayPal's in the description. It's Ryushin, RYUSHIN, Malone, MALONE 8 at PayPal. Or ryushinmalone at gmail.com. You can email me if you'd like to help. But take a look at my work. It's very valuable to humanity to know the truth. But at the same time, it's probably going to cost everyone's life because we've been used as a resource to gain technology for the elite. And once that comes out, they'll probably kill everybody. And that's the result of Armageddon, unfortunately. Okay, well, try to have a nice day after that. Sad. Very sad. Very sad. What they've done, what we are, really, why we're here. Have faith in God. Have faith in Christ. Have faith in the Holy Spirit. Because at least that is solid. That is real. They are watching us. They're watching everything that we do. And the devil is real too. Evil exists. Evil is real. So, okay, guys, be well. Have a nice day and be good. Bye bye.